Your time and expertise are valuable, making focus one of the most important resources to have at work. These days, professionals spend nearly half the work week on written communication, and it can be difficult to stay on task with all the emails and documents you have to get through. With Grammarly as your AI writing partner, you can stay focused and quickly get through your work with relevant, real-time suggestions, wherever you write. It works across 500,000 apps and websites, so it can help with everything, from brainstorming presentation ideas to sounding more confident and persuasive in emails and reports. For 15 years, Grammarly has offered best-in-class communication support and enterprise-grade security on a business model that doesn't sell your data. 93% of professionals report that Grammarly helps them get more work done. Download Grammarly for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast.
Here we go. Right. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for your time in being here. I really do appreciate it. And my promise to you for being here is to try to make sure that I offer the best value for money, so you get a really good return on your investment of time and effort in being here and listening to this, be it live or perhaps on the recording. Today I always believe in something called maximization. Maximization for me is about maximizing your return on investment. And in this case, it's an investment in time, both for you and for me. So to maximize my return on investment here, obviously I'm live now on my webinar, and that's good. And we got a variety of different people here, which is also good. But also we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. I'm live on my podcast, which actually means I'm live on Amazon Music, albeit via audio. I'm also live on iTunes and about 30 other places. So believe it or not, and I love this, in terms of how the world has changed. This is going out to about 9,000 people. Can you believe that? Years ago when I first started off in business, 29 plus years ago now, if I wanted to send a marketing message or demonstrate my expertise or provide some information, to 9,000 people, that involved 9,000 stamps, 9,000 letters and envelopes and a load of stuff in envelopes and stuff like that. And now I can do it pretty much for free. And more importantly, I can demonstrate my expertise by actually being there in front of someone, and that's really valuable, I believe. So it's great to have you along here, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you some tried, tested and proven ways in which you can grow your business, which is ultimately what this is all about. So let me just share my screen, if I may. Just bear with me a second. Hopefully, this is the first time I've used this particular software, so I'm really hoping this works okay. Hopefully you can see all that, and I'm hallucinating that you can, so let's crack on, if I may. So, as I say, welcome. This is about turning your knowledge. So this is really a webinar for people who are in what I loosely call the knowledge industry. You advise people, you help people, you provide information, and so on. And turning that into a profitable business, I believe, is quite a challenge. You hear stats like, 80% of businesses that start this year will go bust within 5 years. And that's in normal times. And I'm sure you agree, we're not in normal times right now. So that being the case, then, we really ought to be thinking about what we can do to A, make sure we survive, and B, make sure that we thrive in this difficult times that we're currently in. And part of that, or I believe a real key part of that, is our ability to sell and market what we do. Michael Gerber, in his book, The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth, Why Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, is talks about something that he calls operational expertise. Operational expertise is really about making sure that typically when people go into business, they go into business because they're good operationally. So if I'm a hairdresser, I open my own hairdressing salon because I'm good at doing that. If I'm a landscape gardener, the same is the case. If I'm a coach or advisor, I love coaching, I love helping people, and so I open my own HR business, my life coaching business, my consultancy firm, whatever it is that you do operationally. Chances are that you do that because you're good at doing the work of the business, but not necessarily good at doing marketing and selling the work of the business. And also, as Gerber says, not necessarily good at the financial side of it. Now, that's not my expertise. My expertise is helping you to improve the effectiveness, the profitability of your business. So welcome, thank you for being here. The webinar today is going to be really, I believe, of great value to you. What I'd like to ask you to do, if you do have any questions, leave them for the end. Just type them in, and I'll allocate some time at the end to go through any questions that you may have. The goals of the webinar are really simple, just to really add value. I've always believed that if you're going to be good at something, and you are good at something, then one of the difficulties is convincing people. I'm really good at what I do. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I really am. I've been doing it for 29 years. I've learned from the best marketing, sales, business development minds in the world, and I'm really good at what I do. But the problem is you don't know that. And so hopefully by the end of this, you'll either think this guy's a complete idiot, which, I obviously hope you don't think that, and I'm sure you won't, or, this guy's really, really good, and then you make a decision, you might want to work with me further, and we can talk about that. And if you don't, that's fine. At least you've had a great experience with me. As I've said, 29 plus years. Where did that time go? I find it hard to believe even now. So I've been doing this a long time. I've written 4 books on marketing. I've literally spoken at business exhibitions, seminars, conferences, and so on and so forth, all over the world. I literally have. I've been to Singapore, I've been to Australia, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, where else have I been? Switzerland, Germany, America, Canada, you name it, I've almost been there. So, I'm quite experienced. I love doing what I do. And let's crack on, because you don't want to hear about me. You want to hear about what I can do and what you can do to grow your business. So, number 1, I call it be smart. Don't slip on banana skins. I love that analogy, really. And I've got 4 things to really talk about under that particular remit. Firstly, here I'm talking about how to generate more leads. Let's be clear on that. So how do we generate more leads? Make sure we don't slip on the banana skins, and we do it effectively. So when a lead comes in, we've got a lead in, what happens to that? Often people react too slow. A little while ago, I made an inquiry into, let's just call them a top car producing company. I wasn't buying a car. I've actually got a really nice car, and I was looking to spend probably $1,000 to $2,000 on something that it needed to make it better, to improve the car. I made an inquiry, and it took over a week for them to get back to me. And I had to make 3 inquiries. I phoned, they said nobody's available, but somebody will get back to you. They didn't. It happened again, and only on the third time did they actually get back to me. And I'm sure you've had exactly the same problem. Don't be too slow. If you want to win, you've got to be quick. You've got to be that first person to pick up the phone. Having said that, we can be too quick. What do I mean by that? Well, I'd say things like, I don't know about you, but I get people all the time on LinkedIn who will say, it'll send me a message saying something like, I was looking at your website, Steve, and I thought it was really good, and I'd love to connect to you on LinkedIn. So I then go, okay, it's a potential inquiry. It's not a hot lead yet, but it's a potential inquiry. So I'll say yes, and then I'll connect to them. What happens is literally 10 seconds later, they send me a message through LinkedIn that's probably about 500 words. And, it just smacks of automation. And all they're doing is going, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want to buy something else? It's too quick. They don't know me. They have zero understanding of me and what I need, and so on and so forth. And that, I think, is becoming, with this world that we live in now, where everything's online and everything's, quick and easy and doesn't cost very much, is basically to market to strangers. It's a little bit like me. If I was a single man thinking, right, okay, I want to find a new lady to be in my life, what do? I go into my local town or city, and I go up to any eligible lady that I think is nice and go, oh, hi, my name's Steve, would you marry me? No? Oh, all right then. Let me go and find somebody else. And I disappear off and ask somebody else. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what we're doing all the time in business. We're asking people to marry us, asking people to buy from us, to buy our service before we even know who they are, what problems they've got, what they need. And we've certainly not explained how we can help. They just go, right, I can do this. So, that's, I think, a really big mistake, a really big banana skin, if you will, that people slip on. Excuse me. Next, not doing enough. This is another massive one. If you ask me what is the number one reason, based on your 29 years of experience, Steve, why people are not as successful as they could be, I'd be telling you that it's because they don't do enough marketing. I hear all the time people saying to me things like, well, I don't want to be too pushy. Or I don't want to bombard people with posts on LinkedIn. Yes, you do. Your biggest problem, if you run a small business, is obscurity. Not enough people know about you. And, when I post, I've got nearly 13,000 contacts on LinkedIn, which is more than most, less than some. And if I go on there and post, now, how many people do you think will see my post? Well, I can tell you, typically, it's a few hundred. Now, I've got 13,000. What are the rest of them doing? Well, the truth is they're not on LinkedIn right now. They're going about their business. They're doing their work. They're on holiday. They're taking days off. They've got stuff to do. They're not on LinkedIn. So if my strategy is to post once a week on LinkedIn, or send out a monthly email newsletter, or, turn up to a networking event once a blue moon, it ain't gonna be enough. We've got to do more. You pick up the phone. How many times in the last month have you picked up the phone and spoken to prospects? However many that is, and, unless you're doing this, you've got a full-time team of people doing it. But if you're like 99% of the businesses that I speak to, they either tell me they don't like picking up the phone, or they'll tell me that they've not really done it enough. I know, and when I dig down and find out, they've made 6 calls and none of them have worked, so they've not made any more. So that's that's definitely the case. And the last one, eating too many bananas. What do I mean by that? I simply mean trying to do too many things. I hear people all the time say, well, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and this and that and the other. Then I'm doing emails and I'm doing SEO and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing something else. Having 25 things that they do in their marketing. Whilst I'm a big believer and endorser of multiple streams of income, multiple ways of going to market, not relying on one thing, but there's nothing wrong with being focused on one thing for a period of time in order to absolutely nail it and get it right and make sure that that's working 100%, then move on to the next thing and get that working. And, that is definitely, in my opinion, a really powerful thing to do. So moving on to the next one. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I think is the answer. Remember I said, some people do it too quick. They just, connect to somebody and then try and sell them straight away. Other people don't really, do things. They do things too slowly. They take too much time. They're procrastinate. A lead comes in and 5 days later they've not followed it up. Well, what I want to talk about here is producing highly converting landing pages. These are places where people can go to access something, typically a landing page. What is a landing page? Well, a landing page is a page that is separate to your website, but it's a place where you're going to probably offer something. Those of you who have booked onto this webinar today have gone to my landing page. It was a landing page selling the webinar. And the only thing that you could do on the landing page was to book your place on the landing page. It didn't have anything else. It wasn't on my website, so you could go and have a play and look at different things and so on and so forth. It was purely to get people onto this webinar. Now, it doesn't have to be a webinar, although a webinar is a great way of winning business, and I'll talk about that later. It could be for a report that you've produced. So you're going to download a report. It could be a landing page for a video that you want people to watch. It could be a variety of different things. So that's really what a landing page is. And if you think about it, what is the objective of that landing page? It's to start the process of impressing people. If you're a contact of mine on LinkedIn, you might see the occasional post. And you might think that this guy, Steve Mills, seems to know what he's talking about. However, the problem being that, you're only going to see me occasionally and you might not see me for very long. If I could get you to come to my webinar or listen to my video or download my 10-page report on something, I'm sure you agree, there's a much increased possibility that you might be interested in booking a meeting or maybe becoming a client. So that's really what the objective of the landing page is to take people from strangers to start the process of getting them to know, like, and trust you. And that's really what marketing's about, I believe. Getting people to know, like, and trust you. And once they know, like, and trust you, they're going to get in touch with you at a time that's right for them, because timing in marketing is everything. And you're not going to be selling to strangers. People say, I hate cold calling. Well, so do I. I don't do it, ever. I've never cold called people. I call lukewarm people. People who've been on my webinar, people who are connected to me on LinkedIn, people who subscribe to my YouTube channel, people who receive emails from me and email me back asking me questions about it. They're the people you should be talking to. They're the people that are going to win your business. And I will tell you one thing, and that is this. The more people you speak to, the more money will end up in your bank. That is an absolute fact. Now, the best way of doing it is to meet them, obviously. You know, whether that's getting yourself out into the networking world or, just trying to meet people. You know, saying, oh, well, I see you play golf. You know, check somebody out on LinkedIn or a contact of mine. Perhaps we've had a couple of communications, and then I go and check them out and I see that they play golf. I play golf very badly, but do you know what? It doesn't really matter too much. So why don't I just send them a message, pick up the phone and call them and say, look, I noticed you play golf and we've been liaising over LinkedIn. I thought I'd just be proactive, give you a call. I'm up in Newbury next week and I see that's where you are. I wonder whether you fancied, I don't know, perhaps playing 9 holes and grabbing lunch one day. Would you be open for that? Oh, yeah, you would. Okay, great. What day's good for you? What have I done? I've just got my first meeting there. So, landing pages are really, really vital. How do you produce a landing page? Well, there's 2 options. Option one would be to go to Google and type in, how do you produce a landing page? Or maybe, where do you produce a landing page? And you'll get hundreds of places. Loads of places where you can produce a landing page. Or if you wanted to, you could set up a demo with me and I could demonstrate what I think is probably the world's best digital marketing software. I call it the Results Mastery Hub. When I say I call it, I want to be open and honest with you. I've white labeled it. It's not my software. I'm not a software developer, but I have found a fantastic tool that I white label as the Results Mastery Hub. It's brilliant, and I'd be very happy to have a one-to-one meeting with you to talk to you about that. And by the way, landing pages is a small part of what it does. It does pretty much everything that you need it to do. Before that, I had like 6 different pieces of software that I use for my marketing and sales. Now I've just got the one because that's all I need. So if you want to do that, go to Results-Mastery, click on the gold button, and you can book a meeting with me. So next. Videos, again, a great place. You can host a video on a landing page, or you could just send me to your video on YouTube. What about if you just did something like this? You perhaps sent me a message on LinkedIn, and that message went something like, hi, it's Steve Mills here. We're just connected on LinkedIn. Now, I know we don't really know each other, but the purpose of this video is just to get to know you a little bit. I was wondering whether you'd be interested in hopping on to a Zoom meeting at some point, just to spend 5-10 minutes to say hello, so it doesn't feel weird to do so. We can maybe build our relationship a little bit. You can tell me a bit about what you do, and I'll explain a little bit more about what I do. It's not a sales call. I'm not going to be trying to sell you anything. I just want to see if there's anything that we can do in some way to help each other. If that sounds like something that you'd like to do, then please email me back or pick up the phone and call me on this number. You with me there? That's nice. That's a nice little approach, and it's much better, I believe anyway, than the written word, because the written word doesn't get that know, like, trust. Somebody sees me doing that on a video, they think, do you know what, that guy, he seems all right. He's talking with a bit of passion about what he does. And I might add a little bit, just to let you know, I've been helping businesses like yours for 29 years. So, I do know what I'm doing. And what I'll try to do when we do jump on the Zoom meeting, if you've got anything relating to marketing that's causing you trouble, that's not working, perhaps you've got a website that, you're not really winning business from right now, and you want to hop on a meeting and talk to me about that, I'd be more than happy to try to help you. And if at the end of the meeting you want a bit more help, just let me know and we can talk about that too. But it will all be done without any pressure, without any requirement of you to buy anything from me in the future. So, you try and be a little bit cash, but at the same time professional. So video, let me just tell you something. Video, I believe, is the future. If you don't like being on video, then as Nike would say, just do it. Get over it. We need videos. Right, videos are the way forward in terms of marketing. Now, I know AI and all that sort of stuff, and fully agree with you in terms of probably what you're thinking, that AI is incredible. Can also be used in a bad way, but we'll not talk about that here. But video is really, really powerful and is something that most businesses are either not embracing at all or not embracing anywhere near the level that they could or should be doing. So produce videos is definitely something, and then drive people to those videos in order to convert. Last point here, how do you increase the conversion rate of landing pages? Because some people have got a landing page, but it ain't really working. Well, I suppose there's two reasons for that. One is traffic. You're not getting enough people to your landing page. If you need, let's say, 1 in every 100 people that comes to your landing page, sign up for your webinar or your free report, or they watch the video or whatever else it is, 1 in 100, but you're only getting like 500 people per month to your website. Well, that's all right, but it's not great, is it? So we want to get more than that, but we also want to improve the conversion rate. So this is really important. So the conversion rate is the number. So instead of getting 1 in 100, you maybe get 5 in 100, or 10 in 100, or 1 in 10, if you want to put it that way. But it's all about how to increase your conversion rate. So how do you do that? Well, you do that by changing or improving the headline. You do that by changing and improving the subheads. The same with the words that you've got on there, and it could be reducing them, increasing them, improving them. It could be adding bullets like you can see on my screen here, which are nice and easy to read rather than just a mass of text, which we get on some websites. It could be adding a video, could improve the landing page, or perhaps improving that video. It could be adding video testimonials of clients, or perhaps just written testimonials of clients. It could be looking at the call to action on the landing page. Sometimes I see people where they've got a page, whether it's a landing page or just a page on their website, and the call to action is way down the bottom of the page, which is absolutely, I was going to say useless. I don't think it is. It's better than not having one, which a lot of websites don't have calls to action. So but my belief would be you need at least probably 2 or 3, one at the top, one halfway down, and one for those people who are very focused and want to read everything that you write and make sure it's all perfect and so on and so forth. But calls to action, learn more, click here, go here, do this, fill in this form, and so on and so forth. So calls to action, really, really powerful. Next then, just mentioned about traffic, didn't I? If you've got a landing page that's not getting enough business, then part of it is traffic. One of the biggest problems that I see with people with websites is they don't get enough traffic. They don't put enough effort into getting traffic. They often don't even know how much traffic they do get. And when I say often, I'd say 95% of the business owners that I speak to, when I ask them how many people come to your website each month and where do they come from, they haven't got a clue. They have no idea whatsoever. Now, it's easy. You just set your website up with Google Analytics. It's free, right? And then all you've got to do at the end of the month, just go in there and see how many people have been. See where they've come from. Because, if you looked on the screen there, have they come from email, from social media, from one of your funnels, which is an ongoing email campaign? Have they come from your podcast? What about your paid advertising, pay-per-click advertising, be it on Google, on Bing, on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth? Have they come from SEO, search engine optimization? They've found you on Google. Have they been referred? I've not got that down on my list here, but I've just thought about it. Been referred from another site. There's a link on another site telling people to go there. Have they come from networking? You went to a networking event and you said to people, look, if you want to attend my webinar, it's next Wednesday, and if you go to blah, blah, blah website, there's a link on there and you can download or sign up to the webinar. Have you got people on a video? You've provided a video, you've put it out on social media, and at the end of this interesting video that you've created, you've said, oh, and by the way, if you want to attend my webinar, if you want to download my book, if you want to watch another more in-depth video program, which is 6 videos, drop me a line or go to this link and get yourself signed up. What about blogs and blogging? That's a great way of driving traffic to your website. So I'm running a seminar soon up in Skipton. I'm actually going, it's a physical half day. By the way, if you want to find out about that, that's Skipton in Yorkshire. If you want to find out about that, it's on the 19th of November. It's a half day. It's been co-hosted with myself and a guy called Stuart Newbury from a firm of accountants up there, and you'd be very welcome to come along and attend. So just let me know if you want to do that. But the reason for telling you that, apart from maybe to get you to attend, is that, that's on a blog of mine now. And I just put it on the other day, and I'll have you a little wager, not that I'm a gambling man, but I would have this as a wager, that within probably the next week, we're going to find that blog post on the first page on Google. Under, I think I tried to get it under Business Growth Workshop Skipton. Okay, so it's a very niched market there, but do you know what? Let's just see. And lastly, apps. I've just launched my own app actually, which is probably why I mention it. If you go to the App Store and sign up, it's called Results Mastery, surprise, surprise, and you can sign up for free. Provide lots of tips, lots of information, videos, links to webinars, all that sort of stuff. Just go and take a look. I'd love some feedback if you like it or hate it, and that'd be fantastic. So that's that. Optimizing your conversion rates. It's great to get a load of people to your landing page, but if it doesn't convert, then, it's not really going to be of value to you. So understanding the numbers. If numbers are the currency of business, then what are your numbers? And we've got a load of marketing and sales numbers, haven't we? We got numbers like the number of inquiries we get. We got numbers like the number of people who connect to us on LinkedIn. We've got numbers like the number of people who visit our landing page. And by the way, if you heard that noise in the background there, that's my bulldog Bentley, who's just decided to cough. So apologies for that, but just to clarify what that was. He's now probably back to sleeping as he normally does pretty much most of the day. Okay, so conversion rate optimization. If numbers are the currency of business, conversion rate is the key to maximizing your potential sales, profit, and turnover. And we do that by testing different things in order to try to improve performance. I've already sort of alluded to this, the fact that, what can you test on your landing page, your headline. I remember years ago changing the headline on an advert on the back of a magazine, and I made this particular client over £5 million within the next month by changing the headline. I changed it from the name of the company to local authorities save £5 million a year on recycling costs, which is what their piece of equipment did. They sold this piece of equipment for £2.5 million each, and they sold 2 of them in the following month. They made £5 million. I was definitely should have been on commission, but I wasn't, and I charged them my daily rate, and they made £5 million. They said there was a cheque in the post, but it's not arrived yet. Can you believe that? And that must be about 6 years ago. The postal service. Oh, there's my dog again. Apologies for that. What to test and improve. Your conversion rate optimization. I'd always start with a headline. I believe that the headline is the advert for the advert. The headline's the advert for the email, the advert for the webinar, the advert for the landing page, and so on and so forth. So that, I think, is really true. I'd also test the use of different things, the use of testimonials, the use of videos, the use of email, and so on and so forth. And obviously, in today's world, we've got the opportunity to automate and to use AI. Again, my results mastery hub enables you to do all that, to automate things, to use AI, to send out social media posts more than once in a blue moon, and to do that when you're not actually there. I don't want to be necessarily posting on a Saturday morning when actually I get a really good open rate, but I'm busy doing my social things. And so what I want to do is to try to make sure I use the technology, i.e. the hub, and I can then push things out at a time when I'm not actually working. So really, really powerful. Okay. Getting people to attend a webinar. This is a real challenge, I think. People will book webinars and not turn up. I do. On one hand, I understand it, and, I've done it myself. I will tell you that, I've intended to go, but I didn't. A lot of people book without intending to go because they think, oh, well, I'll listen to the recording of it, which is, again, fair enough. But the bottom line is, on average, about 40% of the people who book onto a free webinar attend. Our job is to get that as high as possible. 40% on average worldwide, but if we could get that to 50%, to 60%, 60% is 50% more than 40%. You with me there? So if you could just improve it by 20%, you get a load more people. If you get 40 people attend, and instead of that you get 60 people attend, and with 40 people attending, that equals 4 sales. Therefore, 60 people attending would equal 6 sales, which is a 50% improvement and growth in your business. Do you get that? I really hope you do. You need to create value before the webinar. Sorry about the typo there, just noticed that, the before there. Not quite right, but there we go. You need to set up a series of reminders for the webinar. You know, that's really, really important in terms of getting people to attend. By the way, making sure if you think about what value you could produce before the webinar, you could send them teaser videos. Hi, thanks for booking on the webinar. Let me just tell you about some of the things that we're going to be covering that are going to be of immense value to you and your business. And then you give them a little sample of it. And then maybe a little while later, you give them another sample of it, and so on and so forth. And then you just send the usual reminders. Most webinar systems allow you to do that. And by the way, again, I've got my own webinar system. So if you're looking for where do I do a webinar, what sort of software is there, I can talk to you about that. I've spent a lot of time testing different webinar systems to find which one's the best, or at least the best value for money. And I found one, and I can talk to you about that and explain it and show it you and so on and so forth. Again, if you'd like to know about that, just book a meeting, results-mastery.com, and I'll look forward to talking to you about that. You can pick up the phone and talk to people. If I showed you my phone right now, it will, on the front of it, it says, "Pick me up and I'll make you money." And that is really, really true. And lastly, you can bribe them. You can bribe them with a cream cake, or perhaps bribe them like I did in a way with you. You know, I said to you, come along to my webinar. If you do and you turn up, I'm going to give you a free one-to-one meeting. I'll also do a review of your website if you would like me to. A video-based review of your website with me telling you on video what I think's good about it, what I think's okay, and what I think needs further development. So that's an open invite. You need to message me, send me an email, steve@results-mastery.com, and I'll set up a time to do the review of your website. I tend to do that not with you there, just at a time when it's convenient to me, and I just send you a link to it. So if you'd like to do that, just let me know. But if you think about it, what else could you do? You could give them something. You could send them something. If you've written a book, I could send you a book. If you've got a video program, you could give them access to the free online video program, which is also on the hub, by the way. So there's lots of things that you can do there that I think will be really of value. Next, we're going to look at, if you are doing webinars, how can you turn them into clients? How can you turn the people who sign up to your webinar into clients? Firstly, there are two types of prospects, those who turn up and those who don't. So, again, if you look at it in terms of average, you know that 60% of the people who book onto your webinar are not going to turn up on average. So what are you going to do with them? You need a system, you need a process when they don't turn up. Do you send them a copy of the recording? Do you say something like, I know, sometimes work gets in the way, so here's a copy of the recording, thought you might find that of interest? Do you offer to subscribe them to the next webinar? What is your system? And I would say that needs to have at least 7 or 8 things in it. I think, the system where you send them a quick email saying, sorry, you weren't able to make it, here's the recording, that'll produce a result, but it might not be one that you're too happy with. So we need, under both of those, different ones. If you've attended, they're going to get this. If they've not attended, they're going to get that. So once you've done that, that's, really, really important, I believe. Follow up, this is a quote by a friend of mine, follow up until they die or buy. Very well known and successful business advisor called Peter Thompson. I think he said it slightly tongue-in-cheek, although knowing Peter, it was probably meant quite sincerely. But both Peter and I know, would say that, generally speaking, people don't follow up enough or quickly enough or consistently enough. There's an old saying that it takes 8 contacts to make a sale, and that people give up normally after 2 or 3. So most of the business remains on the table. Make them an offer that means they have to talk to you on a one-to-one basis, i.e., book a meeting with me, and offer them bonuses. What else could they get? If you book a meeting with me, then you're going to get this, that, and the other. You're going to get a website review. Once you book your meeting, you're going to get a website review. You're going to get access to some online training that I've got called Results Mastery Compounding. You're going to gain access to that. You're going to get access to my app. And I'm even going to subscribe you to my YouTube channel so you can get all my tips and hints and so on and so forth. Really, really powerful stuff, this. So, improving your results. What do we need to think about here? Well, I've got an example here of if you generate 100 leads, and that equals 50 meetings, and then those meetings you convert at 20%, then and you've got an average unit of sale of £1,000, so you get 20% of 50 meetings, that's 10 meetings equals £10,000. Now, if you can improve in both those 3 things, so you can improve the number of meetings you get by 20%. Improve the number of leads you get by 20%. Then improve the number of meetings that you get from those leads by 20%. Then improve the conversion rate of those meetings by 20%. So if you can improve by 20% in all those 3 things, just look at the results that you get. You go from 10%, you don't get 20% more because that compounds on each other. You get £28,000 worth of new business from 100 leads over a period of time instead of 10,000. So that's nearly a 200% increase by improving things by 20%. Something to think about there for you. I'm hallucinating. Okay, so just before we go into the Q&A, I'm going to look and see if I've got any questions, but just before I do, just want to show you a couple of things that we do, right? I hope it's okay for me to do that. I'm not going to go through anything. I'm just going to let it just be shown to you and just talk through a little bit. So we do done for you marketing. I've got a small team. We've got designers, we've got copywriters, we've got people who can do your social media for you, and so on and so forth. I've also got something I call the Results Mastermind Group. I strongly recommend this, guys. If you're, need help improving your results and growing your business, then the Mastermind Group is pretty much for you. Results Mastery Hub, I've told you about several times already. I've also got a program for people who are starting up. It's called the Booster program. It's a tenner, £10 a month. Now, anybody and everybody can afford that. If you can't afford that, then I'd suggest you go and get a job. So, the Booster program is great. Get yourself signed up for that if you don't do anything else. Website design, we can do that, but we're about designing a website and then helping you to make sure it creates business. I've also got something called a university, which is an online training program containing about 250 videos covering a whole range of different marketing tools, and they're all little short videos, like 10 minutes. So I appreciate you've not got time to watch 250 hour-long videos. In addition, you can hire me on a day rate. You can hire me to do some training, some consultancy work. And I've also got a whole range of online training programs. And by the way, if you're a consultant, coach, advisor, or anything like that, and you've not got online training, then again, I'd recommend talking to me about getting that set up, because that is the future. You know, currently I believe the industry is worth 3 billion. Apparently by 2030, that's going to go up to 10 billion pounds a year. I know one lady who's a solicitor that does this, and she charges £50 a month for membership of her online training program, and she's got 1,080 members, which I think comes to, I don't know, 50 odd thousand pounds per month. You know, just let that sink in a little bit. Now, what does she have to do for it? Well, the truth is not a great deal, because she's done all the work in advance in setting this up, and this will probably make her money for the next 10, 20 years, who knows. So a great opportunity for anybody who helps people and could provide online training. I've got one of my clients trains dogs, and he's in the process of setting up an online training program for dogs, so that he can train dogs literally all over the world, instead of based in his location in Newbury in Berkshire, where people travel to his events, and he does training for people within probably a 20-mile radius of Newbury. So, you know, great opportunity there. Results Mastermind Group, in case you're wondering, this is the one that I think you should be thinking about seriously. Again, I'm not going to go through everything there, but you get loads of stuff. You get pretty much most of what I've just told you. So take a look at that. There's our contact details there. I'm now going to stop sharing and just see if I have got any questions at all. No, I don't think I have. No, I haven't. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been of value. I'd like to thank you sincerely for listening, sticking through to the end. It's good to see that people, you know, they don't just be there, but they actually stay to the end, and that's really important, I believe. So, as I say, thank you for being here, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Thank you.